Have you ever wondered why rich people seem to play by different rules? Why $1 million doesn't just give them more money? It literally changes how they think, act, and make decisions? Well, you're about to discover exactly why money hits different after you invest $1 million. The psychology, the opportunities, and the lifestyle shifts that most people never talk about. This is Ron, and welcome back to the channel. If you're serious about building wealth through automation and passive income, you need to hit that like button and subscribe right now. We're dropping the most eye-opening financial psychology content on YouTube. Don't miss a single video. Now, let's dive in. Understanding the $1 million threshold. When you cross the $1 million mark in investments, something fundamental shifts in your financial reality. This isn't just about having more numbers in your bank account. It's about entering an entirely new league of financial possibilities, privileges, and perspectives. At $1 million, you're no longer thinking in terms of hundreds or thousands. Your baseline reference point has completely transformed. A sudden $10,000 loss? That's a rounding error. A $50,000 opportunity? That's barely worth your attention. Your entire perception of value, risk, and reward gets completely recalibrated. The psychological transformation. Let me break down what actually happens in your mind when you hit this milestone. First comes the confidence shift. When you've successfully built and maintained a seven-figure investment portfolio, you've already proven something critical to yourself. You understand markets. You've weathered volatility. You've made smart decisions under pressure. This confidence isn't arrogance. It's evidence-based belief in your financial intelligence. Second, the fear completely disappears. Most people live their entire lives paralyzed by financial anxiety. But millionaire investors, they sleep peacefully at night. Why? Because they understand that even in a worst-case scenario, they still have options. They still have resources. They still have leverage. That peace of mind is absolutely priceless. Third comes strategic thinking. With $1 million, you're no longer forced to take every opportunity that comes your way. You can afford to be selective. You can wait for the perfect investment. You can pass on deals that don't align with your vision. This selective approach is what separates millionaires from billionaires. The practical advantages that change everything. Now let's talk about the real-world benefits. Access. When you have $1 million invested, doors open that were previously invisible. Institutional investors court you. Banks offer you preferential rates. Private equity funds invite you to exclusive deals. You're suddenly playing in the major leagues. Investment returns multiply faster. $1 million earning even a conservative 5% annual return generates $50,000 a year in passive income. That's more than the median household income in America, and you didn't have to lift a finger. Compound this over years, and you're looking at exponential wealth growth. Tax optimization becomes crucial. This is where most people miss out. With serious money, sophisticated accountants and tax strategists become not just helpful, but essential. They can structure your investments, your businesses, and your assets in ways that legally minimize your tax burden. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars in annual savings. Leverage multiplies your purchasing power. With $1 million portfolio, banks will happily lend you additional millions at favorable rates. You can now acquire real estate, businesses, or other assets far beyond your original capital. This leverage is how wealth truly accelerates. The lifestyle differences. But money doesn't just hit different financially. It hits different in your daily life. You stop trading time for money. Wealthy people don't stress about airline ticket prices, restaurant costs, or car payments. These expenses are simply irrelevant to their financial picture. You gain perspective. With financial security, you can focus on what actually matters: relationships, health, personal growth, and impact. You're no longer trapped in survival mode, desperately clawing for every dollar. You attract different people. This might sound harsh, but it's true. Your social circle shifts. You're now surrounded by other successful individuals, entrepreneurs, and high achievers. The conversations are different. The opportunities they introduce are different. The entire social ecosystem changes. Opportunities become abundant. When you have money, people want to partner with you. They want to invest in ventures with you. They want your expertise, your capital, and your involvement. The world treats you differently because you are different. The mindset shift. no one talks about. Here's what really matters though. Once you hit $1 million, abundance becomes your default mindset. You stop operating from scarcity. Most people live their entire lives in scarcity mentality, always worried about money. But millionaire investors, they're in abundance. And that mindset transforms every decision. You start thinking bigger. Instead of wondering, can I afford this? You're asking, does this align with my goals? Completely different question. This shift in questioning alone changes the trajectory of your entire financial future. You develop long-term vision. When you have $1 million secure, you can afford to think in terms of decades. You can invest in education, health, and experiences that pay dividends over years. Short-term thinking becomes a luxury you can no longer afford. Risk tolerance increases intelligently. With security in place, you can take calculated risks. You can invest in startups. You can explore new markets. You can diversify into emerging opportunities. This intelligent risk-taking is where real wealth acceleration happens. Real numbers and real impact. Let's look at the actual math. $1 million invested at an average stock market return of 7% annually generates $70,000 per year in passive income. Over 10 years, that same $1 million could grow to nearly $2 million through compound growth. But when you add intelligent investing, real estate leverage, business ownership, and tax optimization, that million could turn into $5 million in 10 years. That's not magic. That's just understanding how wealth actually works. Meanwhile, the average person earning $50,000 a year will take decades to accumulate what your portfolio generates in a single year. The gap doesn't just widen, it multiplies. The emotional freedom factor. This is the part that nobody really focuses on, but should. When you have $1 million invested, you gain something priceless: emotional freedom. You can have arguments with difficult people and simply remove them from your life. You don't need jobs that drain your soul. You don't need relationships that deplete your energy. This emotional freedom is absolutely transformative. It affects your health. It affects your happiness. It affects your ability to make clear decisions. Many millionaires report that hitting the 1 million mark was the exact moment they stopped being angry, frustrated, and resentful about their circumstances. The network effect. Here's something critical. Your entire network transforms. When you have $1 million, you naturally attract and connect with other people of means. These aren't just acquaintances. These are potential partners, mentors, collaborators, and allies. The deals, the insights, and the opportunities that flow through a millionaire network are absolutely incomparable to anything else. You gain access to private investments, emerging opportunities, and insider knowledge. You hear about real estate deals before they hit the market. You learn about acquisition opportunities before they're public. You're operating with an information advantage that money alone cannot buy. So there you have it. This is exactly why money hits different after you invest $1 million. It's not just about having more money. It's about crossing a threshold that fundamentally transforms how you think, how you live, and how the entire world interacts with you. The journey to $1 million is challenging, but it's absolutely worth it. Once you hit this milestone, everything becomes easier, faster, and more abundantly accessible. Your income becomes passive. Your decisions become strategic. Your life becomes yours to design. The question now is simple. Are you ready to join this exclusive club? Because it starts with understanding these principles, taking action on them, and staying consistent year after year. Every dollar you invest today is a building block toward that $1 million breakthrough. If this video opened your eyes to the psychology of wealth and why the rich truly do live differently, please hit that like button. Your support helps us keep creating the best financial education content on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss our weekly breakdowns of wealth building strategies, investment psychology, and financial automation secrets. Drop a comment below and let me know. What's your $1 million dream? What will you do differently once you cross that threshold? I read every single comment, and I love connecting with our community. Thank you so much for watching. This is Ron, and I'll see you in the next video where we're going to show you exactly how to automate your path to $1 million. Stay rich, stay smart, and keep winning with your money.